My name's Ed Hyde, and I'm on Team VINCUE. So I've started in retail as a kid. My uncle had a grocery store, so that's my first run-in with retail and dealing with customers. I used to buy groceries and that sort of thing. And my dad had a transmission shop. 10, 12 years old, I was sweeping floors and cleaning up in the shop, and worked there right up until I went to college. And that was my first foray into automotive. So I opened a used car lot in '97, and then 3 years later, this Nissan store became available, and it worked out. I had a good partner at the time, a great partner at the time, and we did a pretty good job on the used side. And then the Nissan became available, and we jumped in. That's how we got the start. That's how I became dealer principal with Legacy Nissan. So we have more of a structure of so we have general sales managers and then the service managers / directors at each location. I'm the dealer principal, if you will. So we manage from kind of a top down like that. And we kind of try to stay pretty lean. We don't have a lot of in between management. We do the business office in the Corbin location where there's Legacy Ford and Legacy Chevrolet. It's on the same campus. It's two separate buildings, but the same campus. So we have a centralized accounting office there. But that is the only place that we kind of cross over. Other than my wife is the controller, and so she oversees all the business office operations from her office. So, but more or less independent, I would say. Yeah, we operate them independently. We've not had a great deal of success buying off the street, and I know a lot of dealers have. I mean, they have the process dialed in. We're still trying to work that out and figure out the best way to go about it. So trade-ins is our primary, I would say. And then I have a dedicated buyer, and that's what he does constantly, is trying to buy inventory for multiple lots. You know, we were selling 17 million cars or whatever the SAR was at the time. And it contracted to, I'm like, but there's still 9 million people buying cars, and we need to get in front of those people with the right prices and the right, and that's kind of what got me onto that. In the past, we'd only used inventory management tools were really just a set and forget kind of, at 30 days, lower the price by 1,000, until you get, well, we've had it for 60 days now, just sell it, net it out, or whatever, whatever the rule was, and that was it. And you're just like, well, it's just not happening. And you had no visibility into the process. Listen, I'm not beating up on that tool. It's a good tool, but I will tell you this, that I felt like we outgrew it, and I didn't see any true innovation on the horizon. I think I've been using VINCUE since 19, 19. I don't know when it was, but exactly. That was just like, I'm like, well, here we go. I'll try one more pricing tool, see if I can replace the beast, And that was my plan. And I'm always optimistic going into those kind of things. But in the past, I never even turned VAuto off because I had no true confidence of what I was going to find. When I found you guys, I'm 100% VINCUE. It's been a pretty awesome experience. I got to tell you that. And there was a learning curve. There's no doubt about it, because everybody bought into that line of thinking. And it's not that far off the way that I think that we do think with VINCUE, except for it gives us a lot more visibility into what our actual market's doing per model, which I think helped our profitability quite a bit. VINCUE gave me the peace of mind to cut the cord, because that was the only thing I had up until meeting you guys. It is not probably easier to use in the beginning because there is so much information, but once you get a handle on all the massive amounts of information that you have available to you, and you know how to go through it didn't take that long, but still, you have everything you need to make a solid decision on buying a car. We use it for trade appraisal. We use it for buying vehicles. I mean, all the above. Anything you think, when you think of what you should be able to do with managing your inventory, it does it and then some. So if there's a particular used car dealer that deals in exclusive, like salvage title vehicles, well, it's not fair for me to stack my inventory up against that. But in VAuto, I was finding myself doing that a lot. So it's driving my price down even lower than it needed to be. So that's one thing I really like about VINCUE, is that you can just block that dealer from every time you appraise a car. They never show up. And it really proves valuable to us on when it's makes we don't sell. So even if the Nissan store has a Ford, for example, they're taking on trade, or we're trying to retail it. In the past, they'd have to call the inventory manager at the Ford store. Hey, run this van. Tell me what this car's supposed to have on it, or how's it stack up? What am I missing? Wow. If we think we might be high in a car, well, are we high in it, or are we just in it just right? So it's a huge time saver on that as well. Plus, it's hard for those guys even. I mean, we know certain models and content, and that's great. Not everybody does, and not everybody's, got a good memory. So it's always nice to have the model and trim information right down to a certain specific package. I'm notorious for bringing a legacy problem to you guys, and instead of, it's not a mass market issue. So a lot of times, but ultimately, I think everything that I've ever really felt like I needed has been, I got it, I have it. So it's been pretty awesome. All my best advice from other dealers outside of my organization, we try to learn from that. I just say we always need to keep trying to innovate and move forward and find a better way, and let's try to, and we all need to be, we don't need to add to the problems that gave maybe dealers a bad name in the past. So I think what we're doing now as a group, I think we're moving in the right direction. Transparency builds trust. And I think that's, VINCUE allows us to do that. Other tools allow us to do it. And we just need to keep on that path and keep innovating. That's the main thing.